going on, YouTube? Back at you with another video. Hey, just driving to the next property. Thought I'd make a little video on the way there. I was just thinking, I'm seeing so many like heating and cooling small business companies and stuff. I know when I see the big ones, but there's a lot of heating and cooling small businesses and stuff, which is, you know, I heard the HVAC and heating and cooling and all that stuff is a good thing to know when you can start your own business and make it happen. Anyway, I was just thinking about some of my yards. Let me roll up these windows. I was thinking about some of the yards that I do. You know, it's crazy because a lot of my yards that I put fertilizer down on, they never water it. Maybe one, let's see, let me think. One for sure I know waters. Let's see, who else waters? Man, I can't but think about one person. I got a couple of people, properties that I put fert down on, and they never water, man. It's like, they just, I don't know. It kind of defeats the purpose, especially when you water. I've put fertilizer and seed down before, and they never water. I tell them, hey, you got to water and stuff like that. And then when the stuff don't grow, you're thinking like, man, why this stuff ain't growing right here? They don't water it. Like I just did not too long ago. Somebody I was trying to, you know, repair some spots for them and stuff. And I'm like, hey, you got to water these spots. Keep these spots nice and moist. Keep them damp so that the seed could get into the ground, germinate. You got to just keep it moist. I hate saying that word, but you got to keep the lawn moist for a while. You know what I'm saying? Until you start seeing the seed grow. You just can't just let the seed just sit on top. One, because sometimes I'll say, hey, I can apply some hay, which would, you know, benefit it a little bit more. That way, when you do water it, it traps that moistness in, and it helps it to grow. It protects it from, you know, the birds eating the seeds and everything else. But it helps keep it moist to the point. Y'all keep saying, why you keep saying moist? Every time I say moist in my head, I'm like thinking like, yeah. But that hay keeps it kind of moist to where, you know, it doesn't dry out. The seeds don't dry out. So it eventually, you know, gets into the ground and germinates and stuff. And then you start seeing the small prickles of hair grass. Dang, what I'm thinking about, moist hair. Oh my God. Anyway, you'll start seeing that happening where it'll just, you see the prickle of the heads of the crown of the grass coming up, you know, head of the grass, whatever coming up. So that hay helps out. But when you say, hey, I'm gonna have to, you know, they usually say, does it cost more to put that down? And I say, yeah, there's a charge for it, you know. And I usually charge, you know, I go out and get a thing of hay or whatever, or straw, whatever you want to call it, put it down just to cover it up and stuff like that. And it gives it a better chance of not drying out the seeds and stuff and staying moist. So some people don't want to put the hay on it. I did a yard in the backyard where they got dogs, and they didn't really want it down because the dogs are going to track all that in. I mean, I did the whole yard. I wonder how it's doing so far anyway. I'm going to have to ride past there and see how how the grass is growing. I gotta check it out. I figured I'll see it when I go back over and put another round of fertilizer down, but I want to know how it's doing. I should go by there and check it out and see. But anyway, they didn't want to put the hay down because they got 2 dogs, and the dogs are going to carry all that stuff in, and they just didn't want to do it. They just wanted me to just throw the grass seed down and aerate it, put some fertilizer down, and hope for the best, basically. But your better chance is to put hay down, the kind of, because you got all the elements of the wind, you know, water. Like if it rains real hard, that hay keeps it into place, keep it in place. If it rains real hard, you know, sometimes the water washes the seed, you know, away. So you got a lot of things, a lot of benefits when you put that hay down. So I let the customers know, and you know, sometimes they want it, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But if you're gonna spend the money on all this seed and the fertilizer and the aeration, you might as well do everything in order to give that grass a better chance to thrive. So yeah, but it's just funny how I was just thinking about that. Like a lot of people just, they want the nice yard, but they don't want to put the money into it to get the nice yard. And it takes a lot to get a nice yard. They think that you're just going to put a thing of fertilizer down after they haven't been putting fertilizer down at all. At all. Oh, somebody must have bought that property. They're clearing it out. Or brought that piece of land right there. Nice piece of land. Anyway, where was it? What was I saying? Oh man, I lost train of thought after looking at that land that was being sold, or they bought. Anyway, but the people, when you see a nice yard, they didn't get that from the first year. They didn't get that for the first year, and they're on top of things. So when you start talking to customers and you say, hey, I'm about to come around and put some fertilizer down, start early, you know, the earlier you start, the quicker you can stop those dandelions from growing, the crabgrass from growing. That's why you got to put it down early enough so that once it start getting warm, above that 50 degrees, man, the weeds are about to start coming out. Oh, they selling that little thing? The weeds are about to start coming out. So, yeah. You got to get that pre-emerger down earlier than you think, so that you have a better chance of not having any dandelions and weeds. And when you wait, then you're gonna see some pop up. Weeds are very resistant. They don't play, especially depending on how hot it is outside and the weather, the change of weather. You got some resistant weeds that's out there, and I don't know about all the weeds and stuff like that, but there's a lot of weeds that's just hard to kill. And excuse me. Just like dandelions, you either got to stop them before they get there, or you just gonna have them, especially if you got neighbors on each side of you that have them. But the dandelions come and they go. They got a certain period of time that they pop up during the spring, and then they're gonna disappear. So, you know, as long as your yard is not filled to the max with dandelions like this right here, you see that? All those dandelions, you know, and then they turn into the white bulbs, and then that's how they get other dandelions everywhere. They fly in the air, they release, and then they fly in the air into your yard, and then they germinate in your yard. Unless you got some type of pre-emergent stuff down where it's gonna help stop it from growing. But when it's dandelion season, woo, it ain't no joke. So tell your customers don't get discouraged because they see a couple of dandelions and you can spot treat them. You can spot treat them and stuff like that. Or they got another fertilizer you can put down and it'll specifically say dandelions on it, you know. But the key is to try to get it early. If you don't get it early, it's not the end of the world. It's all good. See, like this nice yard or piece of property. It didn't have any dandelions in it, and it had a few. Let's see if I see another one that's treated. There's some right there. There's some dandelions over there too. So there's a certain season or a certain period of time that the dandelions are going to pop up, and then eventually they're going to go. So that's all good. All right, guys, that's enough of my time. I was just thinking about that on the way here. You know how I'm thinking about how many customers actually water their lawns. Oh, they're about to start building all these houses over here. All this land right here, all this land, they're about to start popping up the houses. Popping up houses. All this right here, well, I'll show you. See all those houses in the background back there? They're coming up all over here. They're going to be up all over here. They're selling all this land. Somebody's going to buy it. That's the church land right there. Somebody's going to buy it over here. I think the church got all this land over here. See, the church got all that land and they'll sell it all. But yeah, they're building up houses. Here in Blue Springs, boy, they popping up houses and all in the back of here. All back there. Nothing but new houses. They about to put some up here too. See that blue ribbon? They about to start putting them all right here. All right here. They're all back there, new houses. I got a couple of houses back there, and I'm hoping that over time I'll be growing into that neighborhood. So it is what it is. And the prices of equipment is going up, so it ain't gonna be easy to run your business. Look, you can go to a dealer and you can finance equipment. You can finance you a mower, you can do that. It's not that you can't get it, it's that you gotta be profitable with your business. You gotta be making some money. If you ain't making no money to pay for that equipment each month, pay for your truck each month, pay for your insurance each month, have money to run your business, and to be able to pay your bills, you know, that's the big picture. You could go in and buy all the equipment you want, but can you sustain it where you're profitable and you're making money that you can pay these things off and continue to pay on them? That's what it is. That's the real challenge. It's not getting the equipment, because yes, the equipment right now is, like I said, for a 36-inch, now this is with anything, a 36-inch stand-on, you're out the gate 10 grand. 10 grand, I don't care which one it is. Unless you're getting like a Bradley or something that's, you know, kind of a cheaper commercial more, but I don't know. Maybe they're up $9,000 now or $8,000. I think they used to be 6 and 7 and 8, maybe. They might be up to 10. I don't know. So even the cheaper stand-ons, the Wrights, they used to be cheaper than Skag and stuff. They're up there. You're not leaving out of there with a Wright stand-on 36-inch. You're walking out the door $10,000 too. $10,000 for a 36-inch stand-on. Now you're looking at the 52s. The 52s is going to be like 13, 14, maybe $15,000. And don't let it be a sit-down. You're paying $17,000 for a 52-inch or whatever, a 61-inch. Man, you're gonna be 17, 18, 19 grand. Sit down, stand-ons. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it's expensive. Look at that. You got like 3. I be seeing some of these landscaping guys. Man, they be having 3 and 4 52 inches and stuff like that. 4? 3 of them? Just rolling around with them. Man. But they probably do a lot of commercial stuff too. I can see that. You know, you got 2 people. 2 people are getting on 2 52s or 2 61 inches, 72 inches. And then, you know, they got one as a backup. So if any one of those 2 go down, any one other the 2 go down, then they got one to continue the job. So I can see having 3 of them and stuff like that. That's the norm for some of these commercial contractors and landscapers and stuff like that. So I can see that. I got to get me something to drink, use the bathroom, and take me a break. So I'll see you on the next video. Peace.